Hey guys, it's Reaper. So, LifeOfRio just made a video covering nerfs in this game, and it kinda got me thinking that I should really jump on this topic too, since the whole impact slash and puncture thing is getting nerfed, or reworked as they call it. But that kinda just really got me thinking. DE's conception of nerfs and balancing this game has always been kind of a problem. You see, for the longest time, DE has always kinda tended to nerf a weapon or a Warframe to the point where they're borderline useless, if not just utterly ineffective in the battlefield. I can give you dozens and dozens of examples that would be here all day. You guys know what weapons I'm thinking of. The Flux Rifle, the Toncore, the Similor. I don't know how you pronounce that weapon. But something kind of needs to change about this, because honestly, DE's system of nerfing has kind of turned into a problem in the game to where even whenever I see a new weapon or a new Warframe, I look at it and I just go, wow, that thing is really good, it's really fun, it looks like it's going to be a ton of use in the real combat situations, but then I stop and realize, oh wait, DE is probably just going to nerf it and then we're never going to see it again. Whenever a really good mod comes out, it's nerfed. Whenever a good weapon comes out, it's nerfed. If a Warframe has an ability that's being seen as too strong, it's nerfed. And do you ever see any of that stuff come back? Or at the very least come back as half as strong as it was? Because I sure as hell don't. Gara's wall got nerfed, and now I rarely see a Gara anymore. I know I'm gonna get a couple of you that go, well, I can't take 4 steps without seeing a Gara in the plains or in the missions, or I was just in a squad with 3 Garas yesterday. Bullshit. But anyways, DE, you guys really need to kind of take extra time to think about how you nerf and balance weapons, because your track record for balance in this game has been kind of a two-sided coin of this weapon is going to be either so good that you blink and everything's dead, or it's going to be so bad that, like everything else, people are just going to look at it and immediately put the mastery fodder label on it. And that's kind of the problem that we need to really get rid of, is that we really need to get rid of the mastery fodder label. Like, if you guys really intend for every weapon and frame to be used in this game, you gotta rebuff a lot of these weapons, because you've nerfed them to the point where it's like, you look at it and you go, why would I ever use this? Why would I ever want to use this if it sucks? I never got it. I never really understood it myself. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about the subject without repeating myself, but I don't understand why DEs always seem to have a really hard time just finding that nice little middle ground of making a weapon still good. It doesn't have to be earth-shatteringly meta, but they could still just try to make it, usable. Make it be able to go through at least 70% of the star map without struggling or seeming like you're not even doing anything to the enemies. As far as Warframes go, like Gara for an example, they nerfed her wall and people dubbed her useless, even though her wall, honestly, it was a good ability, but I don't think the Warframe itself is useless anymore. But this mostly goes towards weapons, because Warframes, in most cases, they do a good job with the Warframes. I'll give them credit for that. Warframes tend to walk out of nerfs better than weapons do. Weapons, on the other hand, I guess they're such a delicate system that you just you really have I can understand it. I'm not a game designer. I don't know how nerfs and balances and all that go. I'm not gonna claim that. Let me unclaim that right away. I don't know how balancing in a game, especially a game like Warframe, I don't know how that works. But as a player, I can tell you from first-hand experience that it's getting really problematic whenever you guys keep releasing a new weapon or a new Warframe, and then I don't want to get it immediately because I want to see if you guys are going to kill it or not. And that kills game diversity, like Rio was talking about in his video. People really don't want to make their own unique builds or anything because they're going to be afraid of it being too strong. And in a game where you want to be like, as strong or as awesome as possible, but the minute you do, or the minute DE gets whiff of it, they nerf it, it makes you want to just stick with what's being called the meta. DE hasn't nerfed the meta, so just stick with the meta because that's as good as you're going to get. Like, DE's nerf habits kind of made people really not want to go above and beyond what they can. People don't want to break limits. People don't want to find something that's going to be super cool and then share it, because the minute they do, it's going to be gone the next hotfix. Especially as of recently, like with Korra and the new shotgun coming out. I'm really looking forward to that shotgun because I like shotguns. They're fun. They're cool. But now that I heard how the new damage system might make it, mastery fodder already, after hearing how that new shotgun's going to probably be mastery fodder at release, and how puncture and slash and all that's going to be so much weaker, or at the very least different, I'm not looking forward to it, because it's like, why am I going to bother getting this weapon if it's going to suck? I'm not someone who really cares about mastery fodder. Like, I'm ranked 19. I don't really care about mastery rank. If the weapon isn't good, I'm not going to get it. And that's kind of just the main point there. It's like, a weapon needs to be at least good. It doesn't need to be meta, doesn't need to be above meta. It just needs to be good. And DE's perception of good is either meta or nothing. Another thing Rio talks about is, as he puts it, equivalent exchange. That's something I can only half agree with, because you can make something worse, but then make something else about it better. But then oftentimes it's really hard to do that without putting it either in the same place it was before it got nerfed, or putting it in a worse spot than it was. Like increasing the status chance on a weapon that has poor status effects or damage. Or trying to buff the slash damage into a puncture weapon. Like, equivalent exchange isn't something that completely works with Warframe. Maybe for the actual Warframes themselves, like he explained with again, Gara, they nerf the walls, maybe they can buff the 3. That'd be nice. But it's a very win or lose kind of tactic. I don't know if equivalent exchange is the best route to go for Warframe, yet at least. Again, this is one of those topics that's really hard to talk about without repeating myself constantly. I'm trying to think of a way to really not just keep saying, this is the problem, this is the solution. Because the solution is just black and white as that is. They just need to make things not useless. If they're going to nerf something, they need to playtest it to where it's not just going to fall off the map and no one's ever going to use it again. If DE actually intends for us to use more than 5 weapons in this game, they need to buff. That's what it is. They need to do more buffs than nerfs. Instead of nerfing everything else that we use, nerf everything that we're not using so that way we use something else. Buff the enemies if you have to. I mean, I don't know. I'm just getting really tired of seeing so many of my favorite weapons, so many Warframes, and so many players leaving and going and coming just for one thing. Leaving and going, coming for the same 5 weapons, the same 5 Warframes that you see in every mission. Because that gets boring. Even if you're not the guy playing the meta, it gets boring playing with the meta. So that's really the whole point I'm trying to get to anyone who's watching this, or especially DE if you guys ever watch this. Love you. Please accept my application. But please just buff everything else. I mean, I'm not saying make everything, level 200, but make the guns all do 2 million damage. That's just stupid. But, if something is too strong, just buff things with it. Or if you're gonna nerf it, and please don't nerf it, but if you're gonna nerf something, just little numbers, guys. Like, DE, can you do that? Can you just little numbers? But that's all I have to say. Again, anything more is just going to be repeating myself. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you guys agree, disagree, let me know. Like, dislike the video. I'm the Reaper Hunter. I'll see you guys later.